For today's headlines, government can use police power to compel vaccination. PNPA director sacked over cadet death. More OFWs to come home. 12 metro bridges crossing Pasig River. Bacolod City opens 34 inoculation sites. MMDA gives senior workers flu vax. Typhoon Lannie to enter Philippines tonight or tomorrow morning. Malabon City prepares minors vaccination. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and apologies for our technical difficulty. And now going back to our news. Not that he was threatening unvaccinated Filipinos, but President Rodrigo Duterte on Monday said he can invoke the state's police power to compel anti-coronavirus vaccination on those who refuse to do so. In his televised address, the chief executive reinforced his strongman reputation once again by reminding the public that the government can compel everyone to get vaccinated through the use of force. Duterte noted that the government has long been appealing to Filipinos to immediately receive COVID-19 jabs once it becomes available. What was noticeably absent during his recent public address was the fact that many Filipinos have yet to receive the coveted shots due to the limited supply. In previous months, some local government units in areas outside Metro Manila suspended their respective COVID-19 vaccination programs. The state's immunization program was also limited to priority groups, namely health workers, senior citizens, persons with comorbidities, and essential workers. Duterte's pandemic response is often described as heavy-handed and militaristic, and it was not the first time he had cited the possible use of police power against those who refused to get vaccinated. In June, he warned that he would send to jail those who refused. National Police Chief General Guillermo Eleazar relieved the director of the Philippine National Police Academy following the death of a cadet in a suspected case of hazing. Major General Roderick Armamento will be replaced by Major General Alex Sampaga as PNPA Director effective Wednesday, Eleazar said in a statement. Sampaga will be leading the academy after serving as head of the PNP Directorate for Information and Communications Technology Management, where Armamento will be transferred, Eleazar said. Sampaga and Armamento are both graduates of PNPA. The former belongs to the class of 1989 and the latter is his junior from class 1990. Eleazar said the swap is part of the review of rules and regulations and academic policies and reforms he ordered for the PNPA following the death of a cadet, 3rd Class George Carl Magsayo. He said he expects Major General Sampaga to bring in innovative ideas and fresh perspective that would effectively implement the necessary adjustments in further improving the institution for each cadet to live up to its core values of justice, integrity, and service. Magsayo, a native of Zamboanga del Sur who represented Region 9 as an Arnis player in the 1998 Palarong Pambansa, died after being punched 5 times by a senior at the PNPA, Cadet 2C Cesar Steve Maingat, last Thursday. Eleazar visited Magsayo's wake at the PNPA and spoke with the latter's mother, who told him that it was her son's childhood dream to become a police officer. He is disheartened that the very institution which Magsayo considered as a second home and fully trusted for protection, for learning, and for honing of skills to be an officer of the law had failed him, the PNP chief said. This is not what the Philippine National Police had in mind and envisioned when they aggressively fought for several years for the total supervision of the PNPA. This method of inflicting physical pain and other twisted concepts of instituting discipline and imposing punishment on cadets must stop, and it stops now, he added. Eleazar assured that criminal and administrative charges will be filed against Maingat, and these would lead to his dismissal from the police academy. Let this serve as a stern warning to all the PNPA cadets that the PNP leadership will never tolerate this misbehavior and serious breach of discipline and moral values. To the PNPA cadets, the Filipino people expect so much from you as their scholars and future protectors. Do not fail them again, he said. The Department of Transportation disclosed a plan to open more gateways to accommodate returning overseas Filipino workers, or OFW. Included in the plan are the seafarers supporting calls of the local manning agencies to increase the capacity of flights from 2,000 to 3,000 that will be presented to the ruling Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases in the coming days. During Monday's Pandasal Forum, Transportation Secretary Tugade said they will present the request for an increased capacity on inbound flights to the IATF this 29th of September, as he also wanted stranded seafarers to return home after serving beyond their contracts. The matter will be presented to the Technical Working Group on Wednesday, but with regard to the capacity, which is now at 2,000, if these OFW will arrive at the same time, all our international airports, namely Naya, Clark, and Cebu, will be all filled and choked. That's why we are also pushing to open more gateways if we will wish to increase the current inbound capacity to 3,000, Tugade said. The action may include the airports of General Santos City, Panglao in Bohol, and Lawag and Vigan in Ilocos, so there will be more choices for the airlines. Aside from this, local businesses will also prosper, such as the local hotels, restaurants. That is why he directed the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines to look for airports that will serve as possible additional gateways, but to coordinate with the local government units in order to accept and iron out plans on these proposals, Tugade added. With this, CAAP Chief of Staff Dan Jun Lucas relayed that they have already set coordination with the LGU to pass resolutions for the use of airports receiving international flights with sea-based and land-based OFW. The government plans to build 12 more bridges crossing the Pasig River to connect the northern and southern portions of the National Capital Region, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority revealed Monday. MMDA Traffic Chief Bong Nebrija said that when finished, the bridges will flow further east vehicular flow along with NCR's major thoroughfares, including at the 23.8-kilometer EDSA. EDSA, as it crosses the Pasig River, is primarily serviced by the Guadalupe Bridge in Mandaluyong City. As of this year, there are a total of 21 bridges in Metro Manila that crosses the Pasig River, and among these are 3 rail bridges serving the Light Rail Transit 1, the Metro Rail Transit 3, and the Philippine National Railways tracks. A lone tollway bridge, the Skyway, also crosses the river. We are divided by the Pasig River, and the only bridge connecting the area is the Guadalupe Bridge, a mere 3-lane road bridge, but they are upgrading that, Nebrija said. He noted that Lawton Bridge connecting Bonifacio Global City in Tugade City with Pasig City is already finished, along with the Santa Monica Bridge and the Pantaleon-Kalayaan Bridge. The new bridges are intended to connect the 10 cities in the northern part of Metro Manila with 6 cities and the lone town of Pateros on the southern side of the metropolis. He said the opening of Skyway 3 has somehow eased the flow of traffic, especially during the period when the passage in the elevated roadway was still free. Whether most motorists would be willing to pay the Skyway 3 toll, however, remains to be seen. Nebrija said they are awaiting data on the volume of motorists using the tollway since Skyway 3 management started collecting fees. The city government here is setting up 34 vaccination sites to expedite the vaccination of residents against the coronavirus disease 2019. The first of the 2-day grand vaccination drive started on Monday and another one on Friday, and according to Bacolod City Mayor Evelio Leonardia, these vaccination sites are being opened simultaneously to cater to all eligible yet unvaccinated Bacolod nons. Leonardia, who also chairs the Bacolod City Emergency Operations Center Task Force, or the EOCTF, noted that the vaccination centers are located in some 22 barangays and 2 cluster areas, as well as 6 shopping malls across the city. 2 other locations are Jollibee East Branch and Ceres North Terminal. Data show that from 1 to 24 of September, Bacolod logged 112 deaths of patients manifesting severe symptoms, of which 99 of them were unvaccinated. City Administrator M. Ang, concurrent EOC-TF Executive Director, said they continue to campaign for vaccination as many studies show that vaccines are effective in preventing COVID-19 hospitalization and deaths. Aside from setting up vaccination sites, the city government has also initiated the vaccine mobile vaccination by deploying 5 buses around the city, on-site and graveyard night shift vaccination for workers of business process outsourcing firms, and drive-through vaccination. Almost 700 permanent, casual, and job order senior citizen employees of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority on Monday received flu vaccines for free. The vaccines administered were provided by the Department of Health, and according to MMDA Chairperson Benhur Abalos, providing the flu vaccine is very important to help prevent hospitalizations and to protect the vulnerable group from getting sick. Their employees' health and welfare are their priority. Though this vaccination drive, they can further boost the immunity of our elderly employees and especially those who are working in the field, which makes them more exposed to viruses, Abalos said. The trivalent flu shots cover 3 influenza strains, namely the 2 influenza A strains or H1N1 and H3N2, and influenza B. Last April, the MMDA started administering COVID-19 jabs to its senior citizen employees who belong to the A2 prioritization group set by the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases. Abalos reiterated his call to the agency's employees to continue observing minimum health standards, including the wearing of face shields, masks, frequent hand washing, and maintaining physical and social distancing. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration on Tuesday said that the typhoon outside the Philippine area of responsibility is expected to enter the country tonight or tomorrow morning. PAGASA added that typhoon with international name Mindule will be called Lannie once it enters the Philippine area of responsibility. According to the Weather Bureau, the trough of Mindules is currently affecting the eastern sections of southern Luzon and Visayas. At 3 a.m. today, the tropical depression was located 1,495 kilometers east of extreme northern Luzon, with maximum sustained winds of 155 kilometers per hour. It is almost stationary as it moves northwestward, and Metro Manila will be partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers. Temperature will range from 25.7 degrees Celsius to 30.2 degrees Celsius. The Malabon City Public Information Office, Officer in Charge Bong Padua, said that amid their continuous vaccination rollout, vaccination of their minors is already underway. According to Padua, in an interview with our morning show Gising Na, the online registration for the vaccination of 12 to 17-year-olds has already commenced. He is encouraging the children and their parents alike to visit their Facebook page 100% Pusong Malabon to know more about the registration process. Malabon City has already administered second doses to 64% of its population, and 78% have already received their first dose. He said the new granular lockdown scheme helped decrease their COVID-19 cases, but it's their aggressive monitoring, contact tracing, swab tests, isolation, treatment, and vaccination rollouts that really helped bring down the cases. From their more than 1,000 recorded active cases 2 weeks ago, only 499 remained as of yesterday. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Araneta Center, Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista, and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning.